Helen. Hi, Reg.
Reg is joining us today again. He's decided that he wants a bit of this podcast today.
Yeah, he do.
So today's a bit different.
Oh.
We're going to be introducing Spooky Chat.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like a nice filler, essentially, in between sort of heavy cases.
Exactly. And also, it gives us chance to chat. That is the selfish purpose of this episode.
I think we're going to be saving like all of our catch-ups now. Like, hold it. And just walk in the house and we just don't talk to each other.
Yeah, well, this morning it was like have you got anything to say? Yes, but I want to save it for podcast. Don't tell me now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zip it.
So, yeah, it's just basically because we want to chat and we are spooky. And it could be anything from, like, what you're watching on TV that's spooky, so spooky pop culture, books, films, music, and anything weird that might have happened to you, as well as it's spooky news, if you've seen any spooky news.
Yeah, I like that.
So, I think, firstly, have you experienced anything weird and or wonderful this week?
No, not this week. No. I mean, how does it have to be this week, or can I tell you about?
Oh no, it can be. Time kind of merges on here, so it could be any week.
Okay, so any week several years ago, I've had.
That's such a strange concept.
I've had a couple of spooky things happen to me. I'll talk about two, because they're sort of the ones that I think about sort of the most and are the spookiest. So when I was a funeral arranger, I don't know if I've actually mentioned these before, but I'm going to tell you again.
We tend to repeat ourselves, so there's a distinct possibility we have talked about this, but la-di-da.
La-di-da. I had received some clothes from a family. So they brought these clothes in for a gentleman whose funeral I was arranging.
Have
I?
On here, yeah. Say it again.
Oh.
Because people might not have heard it.
That's true.
And Reg wants to hear it.
I just want to go sleep. So it was just a nondescript pair of like blue jeans, white trainers, can't remember the top half. And I was in the office by myself and I was kind of like turned to the side, so the door's like here. And from the corner of my eye, I saw these jeans and these trainers just walk past me.
So weird.
I know, I love that. And then I was just like, oh, hello.
That feels like something that you might see on like a Disney horror, like The Haunted Mansion or something.
Love The Haunted Mansion.
I can imagine, like, just a pair of jeans walking past.
Yeah, I didn't recall the top half. I think it was just like some sort of shirt, like a light coloured shirt with some maybe lines on it. The second one, again, as a funeral arranger in the same place, and we used to have on the wall sort of like wall bracket type things where we'd put the folders of the arrangers that we were dealing with, and they'd be like
Shelf?
one day. No, because they were like a magazine holder type thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so they were in sort of day order, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'd put a colleague's one in there that I think she'd gone away, and I was looking after the arrangement. I put her folder in the day, and it jumped out.
Yeah, that's
onto
weird.
the floor in front of me.
Because it's not like, I know exactly what you mean. It's like when you go into a dentist waiting room and they've got the racks with the magazines.
Yeah.
Nothing can fall out of there because it's very deep, isn't it?
Yeah, there's literally nothing that could have taken it out and been like no gust of wind.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I think those are the spookiest things that have happened to me in my life. Maybe.
But nothing weird has happened of late?
Not of late. No, not that I can recall.
Okay.
What about you?
Weird stuff seems to happen to me all the time. So this week, I was walking the doggos and I saw a man walking his dog. I hadn't seen him before. And he was being followed by 5, maybe 6 cats. And I was like,
fucking Pied Piper.
Are they following you? Do you know they're following you? He's like, yeah, they come out for a walk with me.
Aww.
And it was so cool. They were so friendly. And like I had the dogs on quite short lead because, cats, and they're a bit like, but they were fine. And he's got like a brother and sister, and they literally do everything together. And they came to say hi to me. And he just had these cats just following, not on a lead or anything, just literally following him. And it was just the nicest, weirdest, most wonderful thing.
That's like the cutest thing. Do you know who would love that? Alex and Mikey.
They
Because
would.
they are the king and queen of cats.
They are, yeah, they would like that. But yeah, I'd never seen him before. Really friendly.
Alex would be in her element. She'd
Yeah.
be like, come, my pretties.
I know, just being followed by a load of cats. And honestly, that's what it was like. And they were just kind of doing their own thing. One was sort of by a tree. The rest of them were just kind of following quite closely.
Aww.
And it was a case of, I had to ask him. I was like, do you know you're being followed by these cats? Yeah. Okay.
This is normal. I'm lying. Something weird did happen to me the other week.
Go.
I think I told Em. I don't know if I've told you. I was asleep, and it was in the morning, so my alarm had been going off and stuff like that, and I was snoozing it, as I'm doing a lot lately.
Yeah, you've always done that, can I just say?
It's just a bit extra at the moment.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I set like 7 alarms in the morning. Gilbert fucking hates me.
Yeah,
he
I'm
got
not
PTSD
surprised.
because I had the Sons of Anarchy theme tune as my ringtone and my alarm. Because then I would think, oh, someone's ringing me when it's my alarm, so it would make me psychologically, it would make me get up a bit better. It didn't work.
I was going to say, I doubt that works.
No, it didn't. And so I was kind of like in between, and I think a couple of times I'd sort of woken up, snoozed. And I think Mark had come up at one point to try and wake me up as well. And it's fine. And then all of a sudden I heard Ali in my ear. And I thought it was Mark. I was like, yeah, I'm getting up. And I got up and there was nobody there.
I like that.
And now I think it might have been Rich.
Could have been Rich. And we were just saying, like, both of us have been thinking a lot about Rich this week, which is...
Massively.
And we hadn't told each other, and there's no particular anniversary.
No.
I mean...
His birthday's coming up in July, but that's July. It
Yeah.
wouldn't nothing would happen this far away.
Yeah, no, it's quite random, so...
Yeah. And literally, yeah, just Ali in my ear. And I wasn't asleep, but it was so real. And I was like, yeah, I'm up. And then I was like, oh, there's nobody there.
And you weren't smoking weed that day?
You make it sound like I do it all the time.
Well, no, I'm only asking.
No, I hadn't the night before, no.
Amazing.
I only do it to sleep or pain.
Okay.
Occasionally it's a social.
Okay. Similar thing happened to me a long time ago, but I was smoking a lot of weed, so it could be... It was literally when I was at school, so it's a long time ago, so it could be explained away with weed, but it was in the morning. I had this stereo that was like my pride and joy. Dad had won like a little bit of money on the lottery, not a lot, just a little bit, and he'd bought me a trailer for my pony, and...
Was that so you could go to Lord Leconfield's pony club? Yeah. Darling.
Because we used to have to rent one, but he bought me my own one, so I
had my own trailer for my pony. Wait, what was your pony's name?
Which one? My first pony was called Dinky.
Of course it was.
That was his like nickname, but his show name was Linslot Copper Capricorn.
Try saying that when you've had a few.
I know, right? Then I had a pony called... Then at one point I had 2 ponies at the same time. I had Willow, and then his show name was Ovington Willow the Wisp. And then I also had Jimmy, and his show name was New Star Jiminy Cricket.
I love that. Do you remember I had a goldfish called Jimmy?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I do.
I do.
And then I had... after Jimmy, and so at that time we had racehorses, like livery racehorses as well, and Mum and Dad's horse was called Thistle.
Oh yeah, I remember Thistle. I think
He was lovely. He was sort of exactly my age. They had him from a foal. Yeah, he was lovely. And after Jimmy I had Firefly, and she was called Fly for short. And then I had Woody, who was the last pony I had, and his show name was Dunwoody.
Oh.
Named after
Dunwoody. Richard Dunwoody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we come from a bit of a horsey family.
A very horsey family.
So my dad left Scotland at like 15 or something. I may have got the age wrong, but he was very young and he came to work with horses down here. And he met your mum first, and they became sort of friends, and your dad. And then through your mum, he met my mum. And then I think he introduced mum to his friends the night he met her as the woman he was going to marry.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
If I remember that story right, because we all know what my memory's like.
Oh, I love that. So similarly, my dad moved from Wales to sort of the Sussex area when he was 14 to work with horses. And yeah, that's me. So we are a very horsey family.
Yeah.
So Dad bought me this trailer for my pony. I think it would have been Woody at the time, actually.
I just love the fact.
Or Fly. And he bought me this stereo, and like, you know, I've always been obsessed with music, as is Dad. And it was I don't know how you say it, and I can't remember how to spell it. Awawi? Awawi. Awawi? I'm looking at Goobs because he's a music.
Oh, you're having a stroke.
Having a stroke.
Can you smell toast?
AIAWA. I might have got that wrong. Anyway,
Iowa.
something like
I
that.
don't know.
But it was like a really good make at the time of stereo.
I've never heard of it.
And it was like a stacking stereo, so it had a karaoke function.
Amazing.
It had a CD, but you could put loads in, and it would change them around. So it was like really funky. It had a double tape deck, so you could make mixtapes on it. Most importantly,
You used to make me mixtapes all the time, and I credit you for the reason I'm not a dirty chav.
we kind of are dirty chavs, but like in our own Britpop way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of fluctuate. 90s,
To
70s,
be fair, no,
chav.
I'm going to say I don't think we are chavs. I think it is very much 90s influence because it was all about like sporty stuff.
Yeah. And anyway, I think chav now stands for, well, used to stand for Council Housed and Violent or something like that. We're not that.
No. I went to Pony Club.
Lord Leconfield, don't you know?
And you're from racing, darling.
Yeah. That's no better.
No, I like that. Anyway, I woke up one morning and similarly to you, I was sort of like kind of just waking up and I thought my stereo was talking to me. So it wasn't on. It wasn't like it hadn't gone on radio or anything like that. It was turned off, but it was on standby, so it had like the clock on it. And I thought it said hello to me.
Brilliant.
And I was like, hello? But they didn't answer after that. So, but that, you know, I was smoking a lot of weed when I was a teenager, so it could have been something to do with that.
Iowa.
Oh, Iowa. Okay,
No, just not Iowa, not Iowa, like as in American Iowa. Iowa.
Awa.
Awa. Oh.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking Goobs this is because he's a sound doctor extraordinaire, so I thought he might know.
He knows tech.
Well, that is
We
tech.
don't. No, that's what I'm saying. He knows tech.
So this is why, basically, selfishly, we want to have the spooky chats because we just go off on tangents.
Absolutely.
About all kinds of things. But yeah, so that happened. Probably loads of other stuff happened as well. Like, I remember I've probably talked about this. You had one today. What did you have today? A weird experience.
Oh.
Okay, so
He's not told me this.
Goobs is gonna, whilst we chat, he's gonna tell us about his. Right, he forgot something for recording this episode, so we had to go back to his house, which is 10 minutes away. And on the drive back, a car pulled out in front of him, but then it disappeared. Really?
Seriously?
Whereabouts was that? I mean, obviously, don't say too many details. We don't want to triangulate and let people know where we live exactly. That's very weird.
Really?
Pulled out in front of you and then disappeared. On Grange Lane.
Oh, that's not that far from here.
We should possibly look at if there's been any accidents on Grange Lane then.
Oh, that's interesting, yeah.
So Grange Lane...
Loads of accidents.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
My God. And
That's a really good one.
Mark's
Goobs.
very sceptical.
Ooh.
So that's... It was
a red car.
Couldn't tell you the make.
Ooh, that's very, very interesting. So Grange Road leads up to the Grange, which is kind of like almost like a mansion, stately home type thing, and it's a care home now, isn't it?
Yes. I've actually done a removal there before.
Oh. So I bet you there's an awful lot of history along this road.
quite possible.
So, we'll have to look into that and then report back.
Yeah, that's bloody exciting.
That's really good. Well done for saving that for this as well.
Yeah. Oh, he had that little nugget stored away, didn't
That
he?
is a very good nugget. So as well as like weird things happening, I think I already said about this on another podcast, but I will mention it again.
Story of our lives. I'll just repeat myself.
Again, I smoked a lot of weed, and this might be why I repeat myself so much, because I don't remember whether I told these stories or not.
It could just be us.
Yeah.
You've met our mothers.
Yeah. And our family are crazy. Wow. Absolutely mad. A friend
Mental.
of mine who I met, Chloe, I know of a couple of people called Chloe, but it was Chloe from school. I actually met her in maths retake class. Because I can't add up.
I mean, the amount of times we told people we're no good with numbers, we're not lying.
Oh.
Like, we're terrible with numbers. You had to do maths retake, and
Twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
And I nearly failed my maths GCSE.
Well, but did you actually fail it?
No, I was one above. What's that, an E? E, F, yeah. I got an E in my maths. But this is how far, I think, most of the time you're either one or the other. I came out with AA in English. And bear in mind, this is when Dad was ill. So he was actively dying. So I didn't go to school. I went and I kind of skived and got pissed and stoned instead.
Yeah.
I'd get the bus, fall asleep on the bus, end up in Cambridge.
Oh my God.
And then just go home.
Oh my God, I didn't know any of this.
And then, like, if I did end up at school, I'd get drunk or stoned. So, yeah, thankfully I was naturally good at some subjects, but, yeah, maths I had to full on study for maths.
Yeah.
And I didn't. It's the same with chemistry, because that's a lot of, like, numbers and stuff like that. Whereas biology and physics, I was really good at. It's only because of my chemistry grade that it kind of brought it down.
Brought down the average. So I can't remember what I first got. I think I got an E when I first did maths. So they were like, okay, well, and I wanted to be in sixth form at the school I was at. And so they were like, okay, you can come into sixth form and do your subjects, but you've got to retake maths. I was like, okay, that's fair enough. So I retook it, got a lower grade than the first time. So I had to retake it again and got the same grade as I got the first time. So it was just a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
Complete waste of time. But I did meet my friend Chloe.
So not a complete waste
So
of
not
time.
complete waste of time. But the trouble was, they used to have maths retake on the afternoon when everybody else had a free period and went to the pub.
Oh.
So you can imagine we weren't in maths retake class that much. And she lived with her gran, and her gran had the most incredible house in the village where we went to school, and it was so historical. I should probably do some research on it, but I can't remember where it is or what it's called. So the stoned of it all. We were literally stoned all the time and drunk, and crazy stuff would happen in that house. It was, and I say I get vibes. Oh my God, I used to get shivers in that house. It was really big, so it had a basement with like a coal cellar. And then there was like the kitchen, which would have been, the servants would have worked in there. So that was kind of almost like half underground. Mm-hmm. And then the next floor was like a sitting room, a dining room, and like a bathroom. And then you went up again, and it's where the bedrooms were. Then you went up again, and there were attic rooms, which I think is where the servants would have lived. And it might be something to do with weed. Goobs has just asked if it's anything to do with weed. It could be. It could be why we saw these things. But who knows? Who knows? And one time, so we used to just lose our cigarettes. So we used to smoke Marlboro Lights, when they were called Marlboro Lights.
Yeah, and when they were cheaper.
And when they were cheaper, they were like £2 for 20. And you could still buy 10s.
Oh, yeah.
And we used to, in her room was huge. She had two beds in her room, and then a sink, because that's quite a British old house thing, is to have a sink in a room. I used to have one in my old house. And we always used to have everything in the middle of the floor. So we'd have an ashtray that she'd stolen from the pub, whatever god-awful cheap wine and or cider we were drinking, and then our cigarettes, they would just always be in the same place. And they just disappeared one day. And we were like, where the hell are they? Okay, we went to the pub, came back, and they were literally stood on end in the middle of the room. And it's like we would have seen them, and we wouldn't have stood them up. Like, it was quite hard.
They would have been just thrown on the floor.
Exactly, so that was weird. And then another time, there were avocados on the stairs, which was really weird, because we didn't do that, and we both saw it, so it's not like one of us was seeing it and like going a bit,
How random.
gaga. Really random. And like her gran wouldn't have put avocados on the stairs. What would be the need for that?
There wouldn't be a need. It would be something like dementia or something, but I guess
She
didn't
have
it.
dementia.
No.
Not at all. She was really interesting. She used to work at Liberty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she was a starlet back in the day. She was really awesome, very glamorous lady.
Maybe she was messing with you.
I just don't think she would have done that.
No.
But Goobs reckons she would. But yeah, loads of crazy stuff happened. And I used to have to run across the hall to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and it used to absolutely frighten the life out of me. Just the feels.
Yeah.
And I remember one day, I'm sure I've told this on the podcast before. Do you recall this, Goobs? He probably blocks out these stories. You have to say it first. Oh, yeah. Well, I just said about avocados and cigarettes on them in the middle of the
To
floor.
be fair, it did sound like you're about to start a new one.
No, I am. Sorry.
So he needs to know what you're saying first before he knows.
Because we're literally psychic, so I just imagine he knows what's going on in our heads without saying. Sorry. I forgot. Oh, yeah. So the bed, I was in the bed on my own, like nothing was going on, and I sleep quite still, and it just completely fell apart in the middle of the night. Literally like a clown car at the circus. It just went dung 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 dung. So that was weird. I mean, it could have just been, it was an old bed.
Did it have termites?
No. It was just really weird. It just literally fell. But I didn't wake up. So like I think Chloe possibly was somewhere else in the house. And she came in and whatever time she came in. And she was just like, I was just on this bed that was just in pieces in the room.
And she was sure this has nothing to do with being high.
Well, it could have been. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but if she went to bed and the bed was standing...
And like I didn't jump on it or,
And then woke up in the morning and...
Prove it. I mean, I can't.
I collapsed, then...
That's quite weird.
I mean, like you said, it could have just been an whole bed.
Yeah. I mean, one time, the ironing board was in the kitchen and then there was loads of roots on it, like the bottoms of shrubs. But it turned out our friend had done that. He'd like gone down there and he was stoned and he'd just gone and got like
some shrubs.
Weird shrubs that were like, I don't know, about to put in the garden and just lined them up on this ironing board. So that wasn't a ghost. That was our mad friend. But he didn't do the other things. He wasn't there for the other things. So.
Tangent.
Really? I promise you, I'm not stoned now. This is just how we are. This is what
I have to admit that you're fucking hilarious when you are.
Well, that was the last time I was stoned, was in Romania. May as well tell that story. It is relevant because it's linked, sort of, ish. We went to Romania.
That's it. End of story.
And we went to Romania and we were staying in Bucharest. I don't know why that escaped my mind. We were staying in Bucharest, which is lovely. I've actually been there twice and I would go there again.
I really want to go back.
Oh, should we go together? Do you want to come? Would you come there? I think you'd really like it.
Yeah, we can do like a long weekend so Eddie's not left.
Such a cheap holiday and amazing food, loads of vegan stuff, all good. So we were there and we went to, one of our friends went in to we went to just get a normal vape.
Yes.
And our friend bought a weed vape. And the boys did say...
Don't chuff too heavy, basically.
Yeah, just like, calm down with this. Don't
go mental.
So obviously
Helen's being Helen.
It's like a red flag to a bull.
You're like, you just smoke it loads, it's fine.
Honest, but I hadn't smoking it. I hadn't smoked it in so long. And I just remember sitting down and our friend was sort of looking at me going, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. And then like 2 seconds later, I was like, no, I'm not okay. And just being so stoned.
For ages, you were just fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I don't really remember.
I find you funny anyway. But for some reason, this was just elevated. And I was like, oh my God. Yes, Helen.
Luckily enough,
You just full on let loose and it was amazing.
But I've always been like that when I smoke weed and when I drink. I just am kind of an amplified version of the like most carefree side of myself. So
to be fair, I do enjoy being those ways with you.
Yeah. Because some people can get sort of like quite emotional when they're drinking, or you know, or I don't. I just get happy. But I hardly drink anymore.
No.
And that's the last time I smoked weed. But I think it was because it was a vape.
Yeah.
I remember smoking weed with Ant, and it was a vape. And we were in California. We were on a road trip, and I had to hold on to him.
Really?
And I was like, I don't know if the floor or the ceiling is up. I don't know what's going on. So I literally had to just hold on to him.
It's like fucking Wonderland.
Exactly. And I remember this guy just sitting at a table with loads of girls around him, and I was like, oh my God, he's a pimp. And it was like, shh. He wasn't. Yeah, it was funny. And then we got back to the motel, and I had to like put my leg on the floor because the
Just to
room
feel
was
grounded.
spinning. Yeah, I had to ground myself.
Fucking brilliant.
Good times. Totally not
Spooky related at
spooky.
all.
Well, I don't know. It is a bit spooky if you're that stoned. And
Where am I? Who am I?
exactly, and we did go and visit Dracula's castle, so I feel like that links it.
Yeah.
And
It
I
wasn't what I expected though.
no.
No, I thought it was bigger.
Pele's castle was really big though.
That was-
lovely.
yeah,
I think
fabulous.
Goobs would find that interesting.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful.
You love an historic.
And in that area, there's lots of
Thanks for the
wolves.
invite.
Well, the first time we went with our cousin who was
Yeah, she was performing.
performing. I was
No,
going to say performing, competing.
Competing.
And then the second time I went with my mum. You guys could have come.
Oh yeah, I'm not complaining. I know we'll go again. It's him that's complaining.
Yeah.
He thinks he never gets invited anyway. Gets invited to everything.
But the thing is, you're just automatically invited. We don't have to ask you.
Yeah.
You should know that you're automatically invited.
It's the triangle of madness. We don't need to ask.
So
Should we get back on track?
I don't know if there is a track
No,
here.
there's no track.
The tracks have gone. The tracks have been
Fucking
pulled up.
Hansel and Gretel with no breadcrumbs.
No breadcrumbs, no tracks, no ribbons or arrows, or signs. So it was interesting because I said to you, think of a story or something to tell for Spooky Chat. And so what was it you were going to talk about?
Dolls.
And I had already looked at a story about dolls and put it in my notes.
Oh, fab.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
Do you want to tell yours first? Because I've just waffled on already.
Do you know, it's not anything particular.
Don't poo-poo your own story.
Well, it's not a story.
Tale?
No.
Anecdote?
No.
Limerick?
There was once a young girl from Ely.
You stop it.
Oh,
I do apologise, listener. One listener.
So I was gonna, for my last assignment, I was gonna write a story about a haunted doll. What did I do this time? Ow. I was gonna write a story about a haunted doll, and I think I've mentioned before, like I used to tell a ghost story when I was way young, about a haunted doll, and so I was gonna kind of use that as a base to then build upon. And so my boss at work kept sending me videos of dolls, like creepy dolls. And there's this one from the 60s, and the advert is, oh my God, it's horrendous.
Oh, you showed this.
Yeah.
It's really spooky.
It talks and it's like, I know a secret.
Yeah, it whispers.
And I'm like, I don't want to know your secret. Fuck off. Honestly, it was terrifying. And we'll post the advert because I can't believe it was a real thing. It's a real doll that was made in like the 50s or 60s. I think it was the 60s. Terrifying.
Really
Absolutely
scary.
terrifying. I do have a story, actually. I'm lying about my dad once thought I was possessed
Yeah, by the doll.
by a doll. So you had a Living Dead doll
Yeah.
and you gifted it to me.
We might need to explain what a Living Dead doll is.
Well,
It was from, there was a place called Forbidden Planet,
it's still there.
and there's still one in London as well.
Oh, is there?
And they just sell really cool, random, like alternative pop culture things like
Yeah.
figurines from comic books and just Living Dead dolls, which were basically themed dolls. That
they were like
lived in a
horror dolls.
Coffin. Yeah, horror dolls in a coffin. Each one had a little story. They were really cool, actually.
They were kind of terrifying, but yeah, it was awesome. And I was going through a really bad patch with my mental health. It was awful, like to the point where my parents were considering sectioning me. Aww. And Dad just thought I was possessed by this fucking doll that you got me. And then after one of my stays in hospital, he burnt it.
I mean,
he was a very stoic Scottish man that he was not invested in anything like that. He didn't like anything like completely out of the ordinary, or, he didn't understand what I was going through. He just wasn't, he didn't like it.
I'm not surprised. I was going to say, I mean, I cannot blame him because it was a very spooky doll and you can see how that would be quite disturbing.
Yeah, and I was ruined.
Yeah, you were really poorly.
And so he burnt it.
Would you like me to get you another one?
No.
Oh.
Maybe. Depends.
We could maybe get each other one.
Yeah. It's not coming out of the box. I don't think the other one didn't come out of the box.
No,
but yeah.
the boxes are coffins, so they do look quite
Yeah.
cool. We could just put them in here.
Can add them to the pod lab, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Actually, yeah, I would like another one.
Okay.
We'll go looking.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll probably just get them online.
Yeah.
Avoid clown themes.
Well, that goes without saying.
Does it though? Because I would think to get your clown themed one.
Why?
I don't know.
I thought you loved me.
I do love you, but it would be funny.
For you? Stay away from me with clowns. Oh, so the big theme for horror at Hinchinbrook House this year is Tim Burton.
No way. Mm-hmm. That's really, really exciting.
So we have to go, and Aaron wants to come with us. Yay, but you know full well I'm going to be in tears by the end of it because he scares the shit out of me when he just comes around the house anyway.
He's going to just be going around scaring everyone more than the scare actors are. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. But I'm very excited. I'm going to write to them, see if we can go to the press night.
Yes, and then we can film it. Oh,
that's really exciting. Is that a Living Dead doll or is that just a doll? Oh. Don't look, Ali. So it's
fucking Pennywise.
Oh my God! So Living Dead dolls do a Pennywise. Oh, that's quite amazing. But it's making me feel a little bit like.
I don't know if you can. I mean, for people who aren't watching this on YouTube, I'm having a crisis. Can you get off the screen, please?
They do a Wednesday Addams one as well. So we know.
I need a Scream one. I need Ghostface.
Yeah, you do. I bet you they do a themed one. Well, you find me a good one. I'll find you a good one. We'll have them as presents.
But clowns are off limits.
Yeah, no, I won't.
And spiders.
One. Yeah, okay. There's cobwebs and a spider on the box though.
That's all right.
Okay, but no actual. Okay, cool. What were we talking about?
I don't know.
Oh yeah. So talking about Tim Burton. We know now that Beetlejuice 2 is out in September.
The juice is loose.
I'm so excited. Obviously, if you've listened to this before, you know we're really massive fans of Tim Burton. Black and white stripes appear all the time because we love it. And we cannot wait. And I've been tasked with finding a cinema with comfy seats for Ali. Because
I've got an aversion to people.
Yes, and the cinema. But I get that.
I don't have an aversion to cinema. I've got an aversion to people within the cinema because they rustle too much and they talk and you can hear them chewing.
So what we have to do is we have to buffer her. So Goobs will go on one side, I'll go on another, and then Julia's normally with us at the cinema, so she'll go on one or t'other side. And last time we went and bought snacks from Aldi because it's a lot cheaper.
And we got the reusable veg bags and put them in there.
Because they're
brilliant.
fabric and they don't rustle.
Exactly.
And we did that all for you, doll.
Yeah, thank you.
That's quite
I do
alright.
appreciate it because I've got a real problem.
No, I get that. And that's, I think when we go, we're going to have to go at kind of a weird time or a weird day.
yeah.
Otherwise, there's going to be lots of people there. Mm-hmm. So,
And
don't
if
worry.
I don't know if kids will be taken to that, but if I will kick one.
Normally, the later at night you go,
Oh, yeah.
the better. So if we just do a really late night.
And maybe
viewing.
after it's been out for a little while, because then there's less people.
Okay.
If you...
Although we do have to make sure it doesn't just go off the cinema, because things aren't out the cinema that long anymore, are they?
Oh, that's true.
We don't want to miss it. So, and we'll review it as well.
Yes.
Goobs just suggested, which is a very good
Yeah.
idea.
And we do. And what we'll do before we go, we'll watch the first one.
Yes, because you haven't watched the first one, Goobs, and you're going to be forced to.
We will sit on you.
Yeah, exactly.
I will
So-
weld you to a radiator.
as long as there are snacks, always.
No
Literally
crunchy
go
snacks.
anywhere without snacks. So,
Or really chewy snacks. The crunchiest. No.
yeah, we do actually have to vet the snacks as well, don't we? They can't be too crunchy.
Unless they can, as long as you can soften them a lot in your mouth before you chew them.
I'm just going to get some. Is popcorn okay?
Yeah. Just don't eat the kernels. He likes the kernels.
Oh, okay.
I won't like you.
I'm so scared. Right, so you were talking about haunted dolls, and funnily enough, I had already saved a story about haunted dolls because I was just kind of looking at spooky news and if anything had happened. But actually, this wasn't very recent. I think it was last October, but I still thought it was interesting, and it was reported by the Mirror. So I've just literally, yeah. I mean, it's not the most
For entertainment purposes only.
exactly. So
No facts checked.
yeah, this is verbatim from the Mirror, exactly as I've literally copied and pasted it, so it's their report. So this is about a woman who collects haunted dolls. The mum of three, in fact, has an obsession with not just antique dolls, but ones which are supposedly obsessed. Over the years, the 41-year-old has amassed dozens of allegedly haunted dolls as part of her lifelong fascination with the paranormal. But the nature of her prized possessions means that she cannot display them at her home, instead keeping them securely locked away in an undisclosed location out of fear for her family's safety. Mm-hmm. Candice from Falmouth in Cornwall says she's always been fascinated by paranormal objects. Quote, I look everywhere, in charity shops, on eBay, haunted auctions, anywhere really, she says.
But they wouldn't be... How would she know if it was haunted from a charity shop? Because they won't advertise that, surely.
Well, they will now, because I've seen lots of people posting where, and this has happened a lot recently, where people have taken them back because they're like, this is haunted. I don't know what to do with it. I'm bringing it back to you. So sometimes there will be like a section of possibly haunted dolls.
I need to find these places. Not for a doll, for something else.
I mean, I would say most things are probably have some sort of imprint on them, like some sort of residual energy. So she says, we've got quite a collection now. The mum says she longs to move somewhere with enough space for a shed or outbuilding so she can store the demonic dolls closer to home. Along with partner Nick Pierce, she dreams of one day being able to open a museum for the eerie figurines. That's a cool idea.
Yes.
I like-
Just keep them behind locked glass.
Yeah. Exactly. So these spooky childhood experiences have made Candice fascinated with finding the truth. While she is a devout believer in the paranormal, Candice says that each time she buys a new doll or object for her collection, she is interested in finding out how haunted they are and how that paranormal activity manifests itself. However, with keen collectors like Candice searching for haunted possessions, there are plenty of hoaxers taking advantage of the burgeoning market. Quote, it is hit and miss with what you buy, Candice admits. you can't guarantee that everything will be haunted, but because I've grown up with the paranormal, I feel drawn to certain things. I feel the energy from them. One of Candace's dolls is named Normand, a doll that hit the headlines earlier this year with the previous owner's dad claimed it was possessed and was to blame for a run of bad luck. Bad luck? Bad luck.
Bad luck.
I had bad luck with my speech, including a burst appendix.
Ooh.
Normand had previously belonged to 5-year-old Violet, I love that name, who told her dad, "Normand doesn't like you, Daddy." I thought it was scary.
Kids are fucking creepy too, man.
So scary. After which, Christian Hawksworth, 48, from Sheffield, suffered an exploding appendix, was shot at, had his car brakes fail, and saw his salary severely reduced, and he put it all down to the same doll. And that story was by Greg Martin and Susie Beaver. Apparently originally from News Reporter, but this was on the Mirror. And that was so on 6th of November 2023.
Has his luck improved since he's got rid of the doll, do we know?
I don't know, it's the Mirror.
We need a follow-up. I need to know.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, actually...
How are you?
How are you? If you're listening, let us know. But yeah, I think it's good that she doesn't have them in the house.
Yes, you couldn't.
Because things like this, they really fascinate me, but I wouldn't have them in the house. No. It's like I would never allow a Ouija board to be done in my house or anything like that. So don't even think about it, woman.
We've had that chat before.
Yeah.
I would do one, you wouldn't.
You know I wouldn't. I would watch covered in crucifixes, crystals, salt. All the things, but I wouldn't partake. And I definitely wouldn't want it in this house.
No. Do it in the park.
Yeah. On I'd say neutral ground, but you don't know because the history in this country, there could have been a battle on that park.
Well, where you live, there were riots.
Here?
The Little Port riots, yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
It's also the home of Harley Davidson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is pretty epic.
Yeah, it's very epic, actually.
In fact, there's a grave that we need to go and visit.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this, didn't we? We should. That's a cool idea. The other thing we were randomly talking about is the fact that I really want to find a local pub to go to.
Yeah.
And it would be really nice if it was a proper old spooky
cozy
pub. Yeah. So we need to find one that hasn't been turned into some sort of chain.
Yeah.
Or gastropub with pictures of food on the menu. I don't like that. And we just want an old pub.
Just sit and have a drink.
Yeah.
That's cozy drink.
Still
fireplace.
Exactly. It still smells a little bit like cigarettes.
Yes, and the old beams that look like they're just going to topple down.
Yeah. And the carpets. Okay, so I do actually have a story about pub carpets. So,
of course you do.
Old school pubs, right? We used to love going to pubs when we were younger. We were in them underage. I don't recommend that, but we were in them. We lived in the countryside.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly. We were near Brighton. We weren't that near Brighton, so we had to get lifts and things. So, and there was one pub we used to go to, which was actually near my friend's house, who had the house with the avocados on the stairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
the avocado house.
It was called the White Horse, and it had 2 sections. It was like in an L shape. It's been gastro-pubbed up now, but it actually is still really nice, but it's not quite the same. And in one section, there was a jukebox and pool tables, and then in the other section was where you could sit and, it's supposed to be a bit more of a social area for if you didn't want to play pool. So we were in there, and I went through a phase of not just smoking weed, but putting it in cream eggs.
For what reason?
Because Jess and I thought it would be a good idea to make magic eggs. So we would put
Jack and the Beanstalk and the magic beans.
Exactly. I'm not going to tell you how we did it because I don't want to encourage it, but we made magic eggs, right? The trouble with that is you obviously, when you're smoking it, when you've had enough, you can stop. When you eat it, you are just guessing
the whole thing.
How much you put in it.
Oh, well, yeah.
We'd have a magic egg each, and we'd be like, oh, that'll be fine. We'd put too much in, spoiler alert, and we would just be off our tits to the point where we'd be hallucinating.
I really feel like this episode is not safe for work. There's a lot of weed talk.
Yeah, so we're not condoning it or encouraging it.
It's just
And
things that we used to do when
It's
we were young.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I had fun when I was a kid, so this is part of that. And this one occasion, we'd done this. We'd made magic eggs and we were sitting in the pub. It was one of the occasions where I was so stoned. I could have been anywhere. I could have been anyone. And the floor started moving because it was one of those really busy carpets in a pub. And to me, it looked like it was like undulating and moving and swirling around. And this boy, for some reason, thought it'd be a really good idea to ask me out when I was stoned. And then I said yes because I just wanted him to go away. And the floor was
also
moving.
not thinking straight.
Not thinking straight. And then like the next day, he was like, "Oh yes, we're going out." I was like, "Shit."
Now I have to.
Now, yeah, but I know
And you didn't.
he got annoyed at me because I split up with him straight away, and he wanted all his mixtapes back.
I mean, rude.
Yeah,
You made them as a gift. You don't ask for gifts back.
no, you don't ask for mixtapes back. Yeah. Anyway,
Were they good mixtapes?
they had a lot of Nirvana on them. He had like kind of like
The grunge.
grungy. He was grungy looking. Yeah, but yeah, he was quite mean to me. He like came into this. We used to have lunch in this like, what do you call it?
Cafeteria?
No, it was like, you know those like temporary buildings at schools that they had when...
Porter cabin.
Porter cabins. They were supposed to be like a temporary measure, but they ended up being there for years and years and years.
Yeah, they always do.
Yeah. And we used, when we were in, this was when we were either in lower sixth or we were in year 11, so it was year before sixth form. And we were all chilled out in there, like all the girls, and he just like came in front of everyone. I was like, "I want my tapes back."
Bitch.
Yeah. Listen, bitch. I was like, all right, I'll bring them in for you. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. So that was weird. I don't remember his name.
He had a massive impact then.
Yeah. Well, he's just like, don't ask people out when they're stoned.
He maybe didn't know how stoned you were.
What I mean, I don't think I could talk and or stand up. So
Just dribbling.
just literally sitting in a pub, staring at the floor, just asking Jess if it was also moving in her eyes as well.
Was it?
I can't remember probably. But yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, I think we've come to a natural end of absolute trite.
Nothingness.
That was our first spooky chat. I
Which
feel like
wasn't overly spooky.
Well, it was spooky-ish. It was spooky.
Yeah.
Haunted dolls, moving floors, spooky pubs.
Was there sprinkling of Pony Club?
Yes, and racing.
Oh, and possession.
And possession. It's actually very spooky, weird.
Yeah.
Weird and spooky. Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so did I.
And selfishly, this podcast is for us, so there we go. Okay. Well, make sure, although it's probably not a good time to tell people to like, subscribe and share
Do you want
after
to do
that.
interesting facts first?
Oh, yeah. Interesting fact. Have you forgotten now?
No, I'm just thinking which way round to do them. I mean, this isn't interesting.
Well, no, they're random facts. We keep doing that. It's not interesting fact, it's random fact.
Yeah. I've lost my big toenail on my left foot twice.
Ew.
The first time was breakdancing.
What? How did I not know about this?
I do one move. One move. And I just accidentally, it must have been a very hard floor, and I just smacked my toe
Oh my god.
when I was coming down. And then the second time I dropped a trampoline on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's spooky in of itself, that, isn't it?
Breakdancing alley.
Oh god.
I like to bust that move out when
I've seen you do it.
I've been drunk. For some reason, I think it's a great or a cool idea, and it was never big, never clever. Oh, that's...
So we've got one from Goobs. He says, I was a certified...
Fuck off, did you?
nerd, geek in school, top set, and went to the library on lunch. The lot amazing.
Did you really?
Well done, mate.
Top
well
set
done.
in English? Ah, you lying bastard, you. Second set in English. I'd have been top set.
I was bottom set in maths, I know that much.
Do you know what? I started upper school doing okay
Really?
with maths, and then it just went to shit massively.
What? For the last year?
Did you mean
He was the second set in English for the last year because they put a Lithuanian in top set to learn the language better. What, for them to learn the language better?
Oh, took
his
your spot.
Couldn't they have just made the set bigger? No, it's not how it worked.
Oh, well.
Not how it worked.
And yours?
Mine is another vapid one because they're my favourite, and I'd completely forgotten about this. I once did a pub quiz with Simon Pegg. Which was really awesome. I'm friends with his sister. We used to work together.
Met his sister.
Yeah, I've met his sister. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's really nice.
Katie. She's hilarious. And I went and met her in the pub once, and he came along with his dad. And I didn't invite you because I didn't know you at the time, mate.
Yeah, you weren't on the scene, but
You weren't on the scene, but yeah, it was really fun.
Did you do your first bar?
But
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
thank you. But yeah, it was a really good time. And I had met him before because I met him at her party and couldn't speak to him properly because, the social awkwardness. Yeah. But also I was a massive fan of Space, which I need to get you guys to watch because it was just the best series ever. And so I just completely freaked out. I was just like, oh my God, Simon Pegg. Even though I knew his sister really well.
So bizarre.
I just can't human in front of other people, and if they're famous, if they're famous, if there's someone I respect, and really find them inspiring, then I'm like, no, can't human today.
I can't brain today as the dumb.
Exactly, it's me most days. So, that was good random facts, and please subscribe, download, like, share,
comment. I like to read comments.
Do you read them?
Yeah, there was.
I don't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I do.
Have
we
you
had
read-
some really nice ones on YouTube. Don't get me wrong. There's not many. We're not popular.
No, that's
We're not
fine.
popular.
I think. I know that people leave comments on Apple.
Do they?
I don't have Apple Podcasts. I use Spotify, so
Yeah.
I haven't read any of those. Have you read any Googs? No. I think people on that particular platform can be a little prickly.
Oh, really?
But if anybody wants to obviously do all of that stuff, it's Cars and the Macabre on all of the podcasts. Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, all the things.
Yeah.
So there we go. And yeah, make sure you download because we don't get any points if you don't download.
Yeah.
And
points mean prizes.
yeah, just obviously we don't get paid for this. One day if we got some money to cover it, it would be great. But to be fair, we do it selfishly because
We
we're
just want to talk to
spooky.
each other.
Just want to talk to each other, and this gives us an excuse to just sit here and talk
waffle.
shit.
It is waffling.
It's weird
Ooh.
waffle.
Fancy a waffle.
Can you get gluten-free waffles?
I am sure.
I need you to make me some gluten-free carrot cake.
Yeah.
And some gluten-free vegan macaroni cheese.
Yeah, I've been meaning to do that for years.
But I'm literally asking you for about 25 years, or as long as I've been a vegan.
Yeah.
3-4 years.
We've been vegan, what, Mark? 4 years.
4 years.
So you think you were just after us?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so 3.5 probably, 3.5. Well, thank you very much for joining us. This has been Spooky Chat.
Yes, thank you very much, Mark at Park Lane Studios, for the sound again and the disappointing looks in us
Yeah.
peppered throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you, Reggie, for sticking with us, bud. He's sort of asleep. He's given up.
Yeah.
And until next time,
Stay spooky, bitches.